double angle and half angle formulas. Let's do first double angle formulas. Sine of 2 alpha or 2 any angle is just 2 times sine alpha times cosine alpha. Double angle 2 alpha is now written in terms of just alpha, and this comes from the fact that when we have sine sum, let's say alpha plus alpha, like sine A plus B, we saw in the previous section sine A plus B was sine A, which is alpha, cosine B, which is also alpha, sine A cosine B plus cosine A sine B, which is in fact sine alpha cosine alpha plus another copy of sine alpha cosine alpha. So 2 copies of sine alpha cosine alpha. That's what we have here. Similarly, for cosine 2 alpha, we have 3 options. And in fact, it comes from the sum formula again, because cosine 2 alpha is cosine alpha plus alpha. And this is like cosine A plus B. And from the previous section, we know that cosine A plus B is cosine A cosine B minus sine A sine B. This is cosine times cosine, cosine square alpha minus sine square alpha. We get the first part. If we have to write everything in terms of sine, then we can write cosine square as 1 minus sine square, and we have minus sine square, that makes 1 minus 2 sine square alpha. That's the second here. Okay, similarly we can change, leave cosine square alpha there, minus sine square alpha is 1 minus cosine square alpha, but this negative sign we have to put parentheses around or distribute this negative 1, becomes positive. So 2 cosine square alpha minus 1, and we get the third. So depending on the situation, you use one or the other. And tangent 2 alpha, we can again derive the formula like this, just use the sum formula. And generally these formulas will be provided during the test. Now for the half angle, sine alpha over 2 cosine alpha over 2 plus minus sine is 1 minus cosine alpha, okay, alpha over 2, here is alpha, plus or minus 1 minus cosine alpha over 2. For cosine alpha over 2, it's just simply plus in the middle, and plus or minus, that will be determined by the location of alpha over 2. As we know, where does this belong? The sign depends on the angle alpha over 2. Okay, location of alpha over 2. All students take calculus. So if alpha over 2 is in second quadrant, then sign is positive, so we take positive. If alpha over 2 is in the third quadrant, only tangent and cotangent are positive, so we have to take negative sign. Same thing for cosine, plus or minus, not both at the same time. Suppose alpha over 2 is in the fourth quadrant where cosine is positive, then we take plus sign. Okay, and tangent alpha over 2, tangent is pretty much the ratio of sine and cosine, and you get this part. And these formulas will be provided in this course during the test. Okay, look at the examples using these formulas in next videos.